Hey, got another message. So I had to write this one down so I can make sure it comes out clearly. But God is removing all falsities from your life, and he is shedding light on people and situations that you need to come into focus about. So you have been going through different things that have been a little bit crazy and chaotic. Okay, many of us has, and it's because God needed us to see some things a little bit more clearly than we have been. And baby, let me tell you, it doesn't matter who it is. When God says it's time to clear the path, baby, it's time to clear the path. So the path is being cleared because you don't need fake love around you. For this season that you're in, for what God is calling you to, for the assignment that's been placed before you, for the purpose that's on your life, for the work that your hands is about to do, and the work that you've already been doing, you don't need no negativity. You don't need no fakeness around you. You have to cut the cords. God is saying it's time to cut the cords, okay? Because it's going to be quite impossible to go on the journey that you're headed towards with all this baggage and all these weights. You see what I'm saying? Like hanging on to you. So God had to lighten the load, okay? God had to lighten the load. And of course, anytime we go through a pruning or a purging, and things are removed out of our life and off our path, especially when it comes to relationships and people, it's not an easy thing to go through. It's not a easy process, especially when those people have been like, I'm not gonna say, the word cornerstone came to my mind. And it's unfortunate that we make people cornerstones in our lives. Maybe that's what God wanted me to say. Wow. It's so crazy how we put certain people in our lives on certain pedestals, and we give them all this credit to the point where they become our cornerstones. And if you know what a cornerstone is, it's the building foundation it's a building's foundation. It's the firm foundation that buildings are set upon, right? And it's like, baby, God is saying, you have built your foundation on the wrong cornerstones. So God has to tear all that stuff down. And the Bible talks about Jesus being a cornerstone because Jesus is solid. God is solid. So God is tearing down the buildings, tearing down the structures, tearing down everything that should not be. And he is rebuilding stone by stone by stone, layer by layer by layer. And you're gonna be rebuilt. And it's not gonna be as hard as you think. It's gonna be a lot easier than you think. But some things had to happen. Some things really had to take place. And God is saying it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It may seem hard right now. It may seem a little bit bad or sketchy. You experience some betrayal that you thought that you would never experience. I know I have. Would have never thought in a million years in a million years that I would experience the betrayal that I have. But God is saying it's okay. It's okay, because those things needed to happen, and you needed to see those people for who they really were. Because a lot of us have this tendency, I know I do, that I see the good in people almost to a fault. Like, I'm always I would say lifting people a little bit higher than they ought to be lifted. Because I want to see the good, even when sometimes it ain't no good. And I'm not, everybody has good attributes to a certain degree. Maybe not everybody, I don't know. I like to believe that. But God is just really teaching me how to see people and things for who they are and for what they are. And to be able to say, oh, okay, well, this is what's good about this situation and what's positive about this person. But guess what? There are a lot of things that ain't right. And sometimes you have to cut cords, okay, on situations and people that are not right, because it could be to your detriment. And you out here thinking that people really have your back. This is the thing. This is what God showed me. While you thinking the good in people, while you're always thinking the best in people, and you're out here thinking that people really have your back, I'm gonna show you people's true colors, okay? So when it really gets down to the nitty gritty, okay, I'm gonna show you what these people are really made of. I'm gonna show you their true character. And in this season, like, we really have to have our eyes wide open to what it is so that we won't be deceived, okay? God is never deceived. That's the thing. And so, you know, while people think that they can pull the wool over our eyes and get away with things and do like deceitful things and do stuff behind the scenes that they think that will never come to the light, that's the thing. Everything that's done in darkness will always come to the light. So while these people are thinking that they're doing all this craftiness behind the scene, like, God is watching the whole time. Like, what are they doing? Like, really? Okay, so I'm not gonna let them continue to do these things to my chosen, my child of God, who I know works really hard to stay on the straight and narrow. Do you know what I mean? Who has good intentions. So then, okay, he's like, I need you to wake up. God says, I need you to wake up, and I need you to come into focus, okay, so you can begin to see clearly. Because where you're headed, you're gonna need to be able to see clearly, okay? So he's fine-tuning our discernment. God is fine-tuning our discernment, okay? And not in a paranoia way, because there's a big difference in having a strong, keen spirit of discernment and recognizing a thing for what it is than being paranoid, okay? Paranoid is like you're always suspicious of everything and everybody, and you always have like a negative mindset about stuff. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? But when you're operating in your spiritual gift of keen discernment, your intuition, the Holy Spirit, okay, speaking to you about certain situations and what it is and what it's not, it's like that's a spiritual gift, okay? And in this season, there are so many sheep in wolves' clothing. So many. And God is saying, I need you to be able to decipher what's what, okay? I need you to be able to decipher what's what and what's going on. And that's a part of we in training. That's a part of the job, okay? It's like when I was practicing, like, in the nursing field, in corporate, I had to have, especially when I worked with pediatric patients, because kids don't always talk and kids don't always communicate. So you had to have really strong assessment skills, okay? When I say you had to be able to pick up the nonverbal cues and clues and be able to read the numbers and analyze the data and see things for what it really was and go off of your gut feeling, your intuition. So I've been working off intuition for a long time. I had to. I feel like maybe God put me in that profession for a reason. But every good nurse works off of intuition, because sometimes it's like, I see what the data is saying. I see what the number is saying, but something just doesn't seem right. So anyway, when I was, a nurse, pediatric nurse, still a pediatric nurse, I always have been, even though I work with adults. But anyway, I had to have really good assessment skills. And you had to be able to discern what was going on with the patient, because a lot of times it was, a situation of life, a matter of life or death, right? So, that's what God is doing. God is training us, so he's putting us in different situations and having you come in contact with different people. And baby, these certain people, everybody that you come in contact with is not going to be there forever, right? Baby, they are part of the production. They're part of the playwright. They're part of the what do I want to say? I don't know. The movie, okay? So they coming in, they playing their part, and once you learn it, recognize what it is, and they gone, okay? So this is real life lessons that we're learning, and we have to be strong. We have to be strong in our faith. We have to be strong in our skills. We have to be strong in our foundation, solid in what we believe, what we know to be true about ourselves, about life, about God, about any situation. We have to be able to see clearly, okay? And so for those of you who have been gifted or blessed with the gift of sight, being a seer, like, you were born with it, but guess what? There's a fine-tuning and a cultivation process. You have to cultivate those gifts, okay? Every person who has like a natural talent or a natural gift, I tell my kids this all the time, it doesn't mean that you don't have to put the work in to fine-tune that gift and your talent. You do. You have to become sharp, sharp, sharp. So, God is tearing down falsities. God is tearing down false foundations, and he's rebuilding your structure. He's setting everything in order, and he's planting your feet on solid ground. That's what you need to know. And even though it may be a little bit challenging, do what you have to do, okay, to get through. Keep pushing, because there is a breakthrough that's happening. I ain't even gonna say the breakthrough is on the way. It's happening right now. But when things are happening, especially in the spirit realm, you don't see it in the physical all the time. You have to keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pushing. You see what I'm saying? But it's the breakthrough is happening. Everything is happening right now as we speak. So that's another thing. We need to stop saying everything is on the way, it's on the way, it's on the way. No, it's here right now. Receive it, watch for it, and in a minute you'll be able to see the physical manifestation of it. But keep your eyes wide open. Pay attention to where your heart is leading, where the Holy Spirit is leading you to, and trust that. Trust that. It's real. Trust that what God is showing you is real. Believe it. We be like, oh, I didn't want to believe that this person would do this. I didn't want to believe that. No, believe it. God is showing it to you for a reason. Believe it. Believe it. Okay, because if you don't believe it, guess what? God gonna show it to you again, and he gonna show it to you again, and you're gonna be like, dang, why I keep experiencing this? Because God keeps showing it to you, and you keep saying you don't want to believe it. I don't care who it is. Believe it. Believe it. So, anyway, believe what God is showing you, because it's true and it's real, and God is setting you on a firm foundation. Yeah. Yeah, he is. You got this.